So given the following graph, what is the AROC, or the slope of the secant line? Well, that's easy enough. The slope of the secant is the slope between 2 points. It's rise over run, right? So, or delta y over delta x, change in y over change in x, and I can count. So starting at a coordinate point to this coordinate point, because this is my secant line right here. It says from that coordinate point to this one, I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So down 5 over 1, 2, 3, 4 over 4. So the slope of the secant is negative 5 over 4. That's your rise over run. The question is, what's it telling me? For every 4 units on x, what happens? Y does what? Y goes down 5 units. It's talking about the relationship. X changes, Y changes as a result. So that says over 4, down 5. Over 4, down 5. Over 4, down 5. That's what slope is. And by the way, goes down, lots of times we use the word decreasing. Decreases 5 units. Draw a graph of the secant line between x equal negative 1 and x equal positive 1. Now that's where you need some straight edge. You could take a piece of paper, fold it in half, or something else you might have. And if your cell phone is handy, you can use your cell phone. How it ends up in a tray. And then, because I am having a hard time because of the way this is oriented, what I'll do is I'll look up there, try to get this thing lined up as best I can, draw my line. This is the secant line. And then it says, find the slope. Well, if I look at it, and this is where I have to be very careful because I screwed this up last hour. Look at the y values. They're in what? They go by 2s. Look at the x values. They go in halves. That's what happens when you pull a graph off of the internet. So this says I'm going to go over 1, 2, and up 2, 4, both in a positive direction. So the slope of the secant is rise over run, 4 over 2, or 2. Another way I could do that is just take a look at the 2 coordinate points. This one is negative 1, negative 2. And this one is 1, 2. So I know the slope of the secant is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which is 2 minus a minus 2. and 1 minus a minus 1 is 4 over 2, or 2. Got there the same way. So I could choose 2 coordinate points. And find the slope. Or if I've got a decent piece of graph paper where you can see the grid, I had to work very hard to try to get the grids to show, is you can just count on the grid between the 2 points to get the slope. And that tells you between, and notice that if I take a look at it, this particular secant looks more closely related to exactly how this graph is changing between those 2 points. The secant line and the graph are very close together. That's good. I look above, the secant line and the graph are very far apart. So this would not be a good estimate if I were trying to do forecasting of essentially what's going to happen next.